What's going on, swim fans? In this video, I want to share with you 5 key points on how you can swim faster. Swimming can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be, but today I want to break it down and address 5 key points that are preventing you from swimming faster. So if you're ready to take your swimming to the next level and swim faster and smarter than ever before, you've come to the right place, so let's dive in. In this video, I'm going to be discussing the simple truth on how to swim faster and why so many swimmers struggle with this. Now, some of the things that I'm going to share in this video are going to be a little counterintuitive, and other things are going to seem extremely simple, but it's so important that you watch this video until the very end, because some of the things that I'm going to talk about really need that reinforcement. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is developing self-discipline. It's so important if you're trying to be good at something, if you're trying to level up and advance your skills, to really focus on developing that inner strength, that inner voice that keeps you disciplined day in and day out. So when there's no motivation, what are you going to do? And you have to remember why you swim. So go ahead right now in the comments, let me know and let the world know why you swim, because that's what's going to center you. That is your internal drive and motivation when the going gets tough. Whether you swim for mental health or you swim to compete, triathlon, it's the only thing you like doing, it's the only thing you can do. It really doesn't matter what your specific why is, but go ahead and share it with me, share it with the world, because that is the thing that's going to keep you grounded and centered when the going gets tough. And I want you to think to yourself, just think about it, when you want to be consistent, what are you going to tell yourself when it's cold outside and you don't want to jump in a freezing pool? What are you going to tell yourself when you're really tired, when your body feels broken down, but you know that you have to train because your specific goal that you set out for yourself requires that level of consistency? What are you going to do when life gets in the way and you've just got so much to do on your plate? Are you going to roll back over in your bed and hit the snooze button, or are you going to get up and go to the pool? These are the questions that you have to ask yourself, and if you're not grounded in why you swim, you're not going to be able to answer that, and you're simply just going to give up, and therefore you're not going to get faster. So if you're trying to swim faster, you have to be self-disciplined, and this is one of the most important things when it comes to being consistent and developing that routine that's going to help you answer those questions when you get cold, tired, and life seems to get in the way. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is prioritizing technique. Now, even if you're a more advanced swimmer, you still have to prioritize technique. If you don't, your technique can actually deteriorate over time and you'll pick up bad habits, which will plateau your swimming ability, and it can actually result in injury. So it's so important to really build the proper foundation. And this doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 1 workout, 2 workouts, 10 workouts. Honestly, it doesn't even happen after 100 workouts. You build a foundation in technique after years of swimming. Now, I've been swimming for 25 plus years. I've done over 10 million meters of swimming, and I can tell you for myself and others who have swum that much, we are still developing our foundation. Yes, I can not swim for a long time and I hop in the water and it looks like I know what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, you have to swim consistently with proper technique, and that is why it is so important to prioritize that in every single workout. Every time you push off the wall, your streamlines have got to be on point, your flip turns, the number of strokes that you take, following a structured training program, listening to your coach, all of these things compound to developing that technique, and you can always improve. It's never ending. Like I mentioned, I've been swimming for over 2 decades and I'm still finding ways to improve my technique. Now, certainly after a certain point, it's going to become much more difficult to make those improvements. But remember the whole point of this video and what we're trying to talk about. It's how do you improve? How do you get faster? And if you want to get faster, you have to maximize your efficiency in the water. It's no good to get really strong and then fight the water. The water is 800 times more dense than air. So if you want to swim faster, you got to maximize your efficiency, reduce your drag. That way, when you increase propulsion, it's that much more efficient. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is having a gradual progression. Now, I'm going to use the running analogy. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You may be thinking, well, I want to swim fast in 100 meters. I want to swim fast in the 400 IM. I want to swim fast in a 1500 open water. Yes, but in order to do that, and remember the longevity of the sport, you have to be consistent over time, and that's not gonna happen overnight. I just mentioned I swam over 10 million meters of swimming. If I were to think it's a sprint, or you yourself think about this, okay, so I'm only gonna swim 10,000 meters a week for the next 10 weeks, then I'm gonna be done. True, but at that point, maybe you only swam a few 100,000 meters. Are you going to be that much better than the person who swam 10 million meters? How about 50 million meters, right? And it's not about the actual number that you swim, but developing that consistency over time and having that mindset that this is going to be a while. You're not going to see results immediately. And if you can delay that gratification, that's going to take you so far. You can't take shortcuts in swimming and in any other sport. And I have this beautiful graph here to illustrate this point that I'm going to talk about in just a little bit. But the idea is that you need to set your vision on a long-term plan and commit yourself and remember your why, because if you remember your why, it's going to be that much easier to focus on the long term. So there's no shortcuts. And then one tip, pro tip in here is this 10% per week. So if you're just getting started or you've taken a break, don't increase your training volume more than 10% per week. That's really easy to do in the beginning, but as you get rolling, it starts to be a lot more difficult to increase your volume, and that's how you can actually hurt yourself. So you don't want to do that. Now let's talk about the compounding effect of how you can actually increase your potential and maximize your potential as a swimmer. So I had this beautiful chart, and on the y-axis we have time. On the x-axis, that's the vertical one, we have your potential. Now this is just your potential. Whether your potential means a world record at the top, or it just means you feel satisfied when you come to the water and you can swim for the next 50 years, it really doesn't matter. Remember your why. This is your potential, not mine, your potential. So what happens is, this is what most people do. You start swimming, and that's the red dotted line, and you start to see some pretty big improvements. Then you move to like a plateau, and then you have this new motivation. Maybe you're watching this video, and then you have a spike in motivation, and you're really gonna focus on all the things that I'm just talking about right now. And in a very short period of time, you see this big increase. And what happens after that is we become complacent. And over time, we actually plateau, and we let our technique degrade because we think we figured everything out, and our maximum potential, we're just slipping away from us over time. And this duration can be a season, it can be a full year, it can be a decade, it can be 50 years, right? You set your own timeline and your own potential. Instead, what I want you to do is I want you to think about maximizing your potential because of the compounding effect. So what I want you to do is I'm going to draw with this purple marker, and so we all are maybe here, right? We're not done with our swimming journey, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video. And so we're maybe somewhere over here. Instead of following this path, I want us to be as consistent as possible. And so what's going to happen is you might find that burst of motivation, but if it's not true to you and your why, it's just going to simply plateau. Instead, find your why, do all the stuff that we're talking about, and you're going to continue gradually progressing over time towards your potential. Now, certainly, we're going to have some bumps along the way. You might dip down, then come up, then down, then up, but the overall trend is up and to the right. And as time goes by, the delta, meaning the difference between where you are and where you could be, increases. So over time, you will swim faster, you will improve your technique, you will develop your strength, and you will increase your enjoyment of the water, but only if you allow yourself to compound over time. And again, this timeline could be a year, 10 years, or 50 years or more. You can unlock your potential if you set your mind to it. You just have to have the right mindset. And if you do that, you will be able to see magnificent results. Now, another way to get faster is to just find a beat and go with the flow. Now, one way to do that is with Underwater Audio's waterproof music players. You can listen to your favorite music, podcasts, or audiobooks while you swim. So big shout out to Underwater Audio for sponsoring this video and hooking me up with the Delphin. It's a touch screen music player that's compatible with Spotify, Pandora, Audible, and a lot of other apps. And you can load custom playlists to play while you swim, and you don't even need an internet connection. So you can create the perfect swimming hype soundtrack to keep you motivated while you swim in the water. The Delphin clips onto your goggle straps and comes with the waterproof swim bud headphones that stay in place even through fast swims and turns. And you can barely feel them while you're swimming, you just jam out to the music. They're watertight so you won't miss a second of your favorite podcast. Underwater audio has a few different options, including bone conduction headphones, so if you're in the market for a waterproof music player, definitely check them out. So head over to the link in the description and use the code MySwimPro10 for 10% off, and thanks again to Underwater Audio for sponsoring this video. Tip number 4, you have to hold yourself accountable. Now, if this video isn't enough motivation for you, I don't know what is, but you have to share your goals. Now, I already mentioned, let us know what your why is down below in the comments, and it's okay to share your goals with others. Why do you swim? What are you trying to accomplish? If you want extra motivation, you can join the MySwimPro community group on Facebook. It's a private group. I call it the VIP group. We have over 30,000 swimmers from all over the world, from all walks of life. Fitness swimmers, competitive. We have some Olympians in there. I'm in there and you should be in there. So make sure you check out that group. It's free to join. Just let us know you came from YouTube. Another thing that you can do is test yourself. Now, this is the ultimate accountability. Sure, you can have your swimming tribe, your online clique, your digital swim team, whatever. That's great. But if you want to get to the next level, it's actually testing yourself and seeing how your results compare over a period of time. Now, the MySwimPro app actually has a number of different test sets available, including the Need for Speed test set, which is a 1/100, your best time, see how fast you can go after a nice warm-up and preset. Another test set is the Endurance Challenge. This is where you do 5 100s freestyle at threshold. This is short rest. You're not getting a lot of rest. See how fast of an interval you can do 5 100s. There's a few others in there, but it's really important that you actually test yourself, because if you want to get faster, you have to set these benchmarks and you have to compare. Also, when you have that target, and the app actually gives you a target time for every single rep of every single set, it really keeps you accountable, and it's like having a personal coach right there on your wrist. So make sure you check that out. And finally, number 5, you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want this? Are you really trying to get faster? Or are you just there to float around? And this really is the ultimate self-assessment. How hard are you working? It's going to take hard work, but the question is, can you handle it? Are you willing to push yourself? Are you willing to get out of bed when you don't feel like it? When it's cloudy and cold outside, to get out, don't hit the snooze, head over to the pool and make it happen. That's up to you. If you enjoyed this video, I think you're gonna love how to swim faster in 90 seconds. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you give it a watch right over here. I'll see you over there, and happy swimming.